Good evening. Welcome to the Orange Zoning Board of Appeal meeting for the month of March 2024. My name is David Crow. I'm sitting in for the chairman, Noah Eishandler, who can't be here tonight. To my right, I have Pat Panza and Wayne Garrick. To my left, I have Greg Natalino. Eric, I'm going to mispronounce your last name. You got Orzo. And we have our zoning enforcement officer, Jack Demersion. And we have Bonnie Syed here as our, she's doing everything tonight. She's our court reporter, stenographer and everything. Also want to thank Chris in the back, our technical wizard / producer / director, gets everything running for us. We have one thing on the agenda tonight. The first thing I want to do is ask the members if they had a chance to review the minutes.
Yep, I did.
Any suggested revisions? I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented then.
All right,
Wayne moves it.
second.
Wayne and Pat seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, minutes are passed. Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome again to the zoning meeting. We're going to ask that if you are speaking on behalf or against the application tonight, you can speak from the podium. Please address all comments to the board. Do not address them to each other. Shouting across the room will result in removal. We don't need that. If you, it would require 4 of the 5 votes here tonight to pass any motion for this. Man, I'm stumbling bad tonight. For this variance. And no variance is effective until it's recorded on the land records. Okay. Pat, you want to go ahead and read us the notice?
Yeah, welcome all tonight to appear one time on Wednesday, February 21st, 2024, and one time on Wednesday, February 28th, 2024, in our local newspaper, we do believe. Orange Zoning Board of Appeals notice of a public hearing. The notice is as follows. The notice is here given to the, that the Orange Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a meeting on Monday, March 4th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Orange Town Hall, 617 Orange Center Road, to conduct a public hearing to hear the following. And the following is as this. Petition number 1830 submitted by Elizabeth Carvet, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Carvet Nunes, right? Thank you. And Joshua Nunes for a property known as 866 Birchwood Drive to construct an addition to an existing single-family dwelling. A variance of section 383-30B setback from rear property line is requested. Application and materials are all on file on the Orange Zoning Board, the Orange Zoning Office. A copy of this notice has been filed with the Orange Town Clerk, dated in Orange, Connecticut, on the 20th day, February 2024. Respectfully, Noah Eisenhandler, Chairman of the Orange Zoning Board of Appeals.
What I get is catching tonight, apparently.
Apparently.
Before we get started, let me get the preliminaries out of the way. The application was filed within 15 days?
Yes.
I'm going to say we have a complete application with an A2 survey. It was filed by the aggrieved party. They mailed notice to all the adjoining landowners. We're within 65 days of the application.
We are, yes.
Okay. So we're going to act within the statutory time. All right, then I'd like to call forward whoever's going to speak on behalf of the Nunez application.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Pro Tem.
I'm not as good looking as a regular chairman. Before we get started tonight, just in interest of disclosure, I worked for Attorney Carveth about 25 years ago, was it?
I think so.
I'd like to note for the record, Attorney Carveth looks exactly the same as he did 25 years ago. I do not.
He has some body parts missing, but
So at this point, I'd like to ask Attorney Carveth, are you going to waive any potential conflict?
I have seen no conflict. Attorney Crow and I have stayed friends, which is unusual, and I would have brought this up as well.
He's too kind.
Just in the interest of full disclosure, Dave was a valued associate of my old firm, Stevens, Moran, Carroll, and Carveth, or maybe the
Oh,
Moran was
Stevens,
dropped.
Carroll, and
Stevens,
Carveth.
Carroll, and Carveth. Attorney Moran had become a judge by that time. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, it's a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Well, thank you very
All
much.
set? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I want to make sure
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. One denotation, you have to introduce the ones who are voting that are not, like Eric and stuff like that. You
Okay.
have to make
I
note of
think
that.
tonight we're going to have everybody vote. I think that would be the best.
And
thing.
we have
members.
five with our alternates, so everyone
Yeah,
sitting at
our
the
two
table.
But he has
alternate
to
members,
introduce the alternates.
Wayne and Greg, or Eric
Yeah,
will
there
be
you go.
voting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All set?
I'm all set.
Okay.
Attorney Carveth, away.
Thank you. Good evening, gentlemen and lady. I want to introduce my daughter, Elizabeth Carveth Nunes, my son-in-law, Joshua Nunes, and my legal assistant, Colton Nunes.
Yes.
So you brought the boss.
I brought the boss, yeah, exactly. And the irony is, I would have had to make the same disclosure about Attorney Eisenhandler had he been here, because for years, there was a great program called Take Your Daughters to Work, and Noah's daughter was my surrogate daughter for several of those years, taking her to hearings with Elizabeth. So I'm sorry Noah couldn't be here tonight, but I would have mentioned that we did have a very good personal relationship from our days at, I think it was St. Mary's, I guess. But Liz and Josh purchased their home on Birchwood in 2014, or in January of 2014. Colton came along soon thereafter, and they just love Birchwood. I mean, it's just, it's such a great neighborhood. There's 4 children, all in Colton's grade, the 4th grade, within 5 contiguous houses. It's just one of those neighborhoods, and they want to stay there. That said, Birchwood was laid out in 1941. The property has 32,000 square feet in a trapezoidal shape. And when they purchased the home, it was always with the intention that this literally would be their long-term family home. That said, as you can tell from Colton, he likes to eat, and the space is getting a little tighter.
Me too,
And,
Colton, don't worry about it.
and I'm over there a lot, because we're only 3 minutes apart. But they realized that to stay in that neighborhood, with the age of the houses and the configuration, most of the houses are very similar. They're small colonials or expanded capes. And so what they did was they engaged the services of a local architect with the idea that they would do basically 2 things. They would expand the leaching field, the septic field, which is in the front of the house, and to add the capacity for a 4th bedroom, which they have had checked. And Mr. Damon, who did the layout, was very confident that that would not be a problem. And then in the back of the house, they wanted to expand what is now a very small kitchen, take an old porch, which is not winterized, but does have removable screens or panels, and turn that into a very nice family room. And then on the 2nd floor, expand a bathroom and build a 4th bedroom. That would really enable a growing family to stay in Birchwood, I would think probably at least through Amity, if not longer. And the wrinkle is, of course, with the trapezoidal shape and the septic in the front, they just don't have room to expand on either side. If you're looking at the house, and I passed around some large-scale photographs of the house as it is, right now the garage is to the left, and there's a bedroom up above the garage, which is the master bedroom in the house and has a bathroom. And to the right-hand side is this unwinterized porch, and that will become a new family room. And then the interior of the house will be reconfigured, especially with the goal of giving Elizabeth, who is a fantastic cook, and Josh is right up there, the capacity to have a larger kitchen. The wrinkle, of course, is that the 50-foot setback line on a more square or totally rectangular property shape, especially with the new regulation sizes of acre, acre and a half, it's very tough to do it without going into the back of the trapezoid. And in this case, by working with the architect, they were able to get the space that they really feel they need, but with a minimum of an expansion of the house and a reduction in the 50-foot setback, which they were able to get down to only adding 7 feet. So the purpose of the application is to respectfully ask for a waiver of the 50-foot rule to bring it down to 43 feet, And I will show, and you'll see on the plans and the photograph, or the renderings actually, it does show that there is going to be a flush patio area coming off the new family room, but it will be flush. It doesn't add to any of the building per se size. And although, yes, it would go into the 43 feet, that's not a disqualifying factor. So when they realized, having gotten the plans from the architect, that it would need the variance, they did go back to the architect and asked if there was any way possible they could even reduce it more. But with appliances being bigger, the fact that they're really putting in a substantial renovation into the house, it just wasn't possible. And it's really that old trapezoidal shape. They're at the top of the circle, which is great for a young family. It's a very secure neighborhood. They can walk to the backyard and go over to the Pawcasset Club where they're members, and Liz is involved in the administration there. And fortunately, the neighbors have all signed on. They not only did not oppose it, but they've written letters or emails indicating that they would support the application. And those have been presented. Liz tells me that she presented those emails to Attorney Crow before we started tonight. So I think it's well drawn. I think the renovation that they're contemplating will really enhance the neighborhood. It's a complete renovation. They're going to pick up a couple of doghouse dormers on the front. They're going to reside the entire house, all new windows, and upgraded air conditioning, heating, plumbing. It's really going to be a beautiful house. It's a beautiful house now, but it needs more room. And I would respectfully ask you to consider their application on the basis that the 50-foot rule is very difficult to achieve, given the way the shape was laid out in the 1940s. Thank you. And of course, I'll entertain any questions.
Chris, if I may.
Sure.
On the A2 survey, I don't see the septic system laid out. Is that in the south of the lot? Or is
That
it more
would be
towards the front?
considered, that would be in the south of the lot. It's on the front side, so if you were looking out the front door, it would largely be front left.
Front left.
And if you're
Okay,
looking
so that
at
would
the
be-
house, it's front right.
So that would be south on the A2 survey.
South on the A2 survey. And I believe there was a plan from Mr. Damon that was included in the application exhibits showing the septic.
Right excavating, is that it?
Right excavating, yeah, I should,
I see
yep.
the leach field is here on there.
Right.
It's,
And it's a very
They're gonna
small addition, yep,
they're gonna have to do a little addition to that as well. That pushes it closer to the house.
right. And
So
when they,
you really are kind of boxed in there by the frontage.
and when they moved in
50
in
feet and the
2014, they actually put in a whole new system. So luckily, they know what's there. They enhanced the old system that Mr. Hoyt had, Weedy Hoyt, who had lived there for a good number of years. So they went to Wright, Jay Damon, and they put in a really good new system, and it does have the room for additional, space.
I see from your application that you're right at the front setback of 50 feet.
Yep.
So you can't go forward.
Can't go forward.
You really can't go south because that's where the septic is, correct? And then
And-
you're right at 35
Side
on the
yard.
side.
Sides, yep.
So you're really going the other
Where
direction.
we can only go the direction. And luckily, the way the house is laid out, the kitchen is in the back or the north side of the house. And I have to say, the neighbors behind Liz and Josh, there's a stone wall that separates the two. They're just great neighbors on Club Drive. And they come through Liz and Josh's property, they go through their property up to the Pawcasset Club. It really is, it's just such a great neighborhood, and they really want to stay there, yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Attorney Carver?
No, I think it's clear that the hardship is the actual shape of the property. So I think that's pretty significant, and as far as reducing the size of the unit, I don't think it's gonna make much difference as far as, it's really a minimal impact for the setback, in my opinion.
Anybody else? Let's save your opinion, we'll have it in you got something,
I
Eric?
agree with him. Yeah, I'm concerned that the neighborhood is pretty much all pre-existing, non-conforming, smaller lots.
Okay.
I think within, proportionally, I think it still kind of, works. So.
Attorney Carver, with any rebuttal?
No?
Okay,
It's not the Supreme Court today, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. And again, there's large photos. If the small ones were difficult to see, we blew them up just to make sure that everybody had a good chance. I think the architect did a really nice job on it. They're a little compressed on the renderings, but the photos are, to scale.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Does anyone else want to speak on behalf of the application? I see somebody's being urged there by the boss, but, anything you want to add? As long as you having everybody else want to, Attorney Carver said you were the boss, so.
Come on up and bring the microphone down.
Thank you for being here tonight. Isn't this dull? All right. Anyone want to speak against the application? Going once, going twice? Okay, we have 5 pieces of correspondence on this application. I'd like to read them into the record. The first one is from Mr. Don Wall. He lives at 866, he lives at 2 Club Road in Orange, Connecticut. And he answers Ms. Nunez's email. He says, "Hi Liz, yes, it's been a crazy week of weather, that's true, but it looks like the warming trend is coming next week, and yes, you have my support for your project. Good luck, and I hope the meeting goes well. All the best, Don." I have a piece of correspondence, looks like an email from Alan Babonis, Baubonis. He lives at 834 Dentry Drive. He says, "Hi Liz, Nora and I are happy to confirm that we support your project. I hope you're able to get the necessary setback approvals to proceed with your renovations addition project." I have an email from Walt Feldman. I'm not quite sure where Mr. Feldman lives.
He is 832 Dentry Drive.
Thank you. 832 Dentry Drive. He responds, "Hi Liz, you have our complete support for your proposed home project. Regards, Walt." And I have an email from Jessica Giorgi, Giorgi. Not quite sure where she's from.
They're at 860 Birchwood Drive.
860 Birchwood. Thank you again. "Hi, we are definitely in support of your plans to add on to your house. Let us know if you need any further documentation from us, Jess and Rich." And I have one from Rav Norodom, Norodom,
859 Dentry? I'm sorry, 859 Birchwood.
859 Birchwood. I see it written here. I should have read that. It says, "Hi Liz, thank you for reaching out. It was a pleasure talking to you. We are glad to confirm our support for your project. Best regards, Rav and Elsie Norodom." There's no other correspondence. With that, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Pat makes a motion. Any
Second.
seconds? Second by Greg. Any discussion, gentlemen?
I think it's pretty clear. Topography, or not so much topography, but the shape of the property hinders them, and, they're locked in with the septic system, and they're gonna have to increase it anyway. So I think it's pretty clear, and, families, most of the families today, they need, the houses built back in the day are not the same today. They, everything is different, so I think it's in line.
Wayne, you want to add?
I have no comment. I think it responds to the client's program and needs, and the request of the variance is reasonable within what is typically requested for one. So it makes sense.
Greg, your turn.
Small variance looking for 7 foot, which is fine.
Eric?
And I think the house, the addition looks like it's conducive to the rest of the neighborhood. Looks nice, and it's a very small, variance.
And I think I agree with all that, and I think this is about as minimal impact as you can get. It's the only direction they can go. They can't go forward, they can't go left, they can't go right, so they gotta go back. I think we can find a hardship based on the land. You agree with that, John?
I agree with it.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the
So
variance.
before we do that, I just want to finish the motion to close the public hearing. We got a
I
first and a
have a
second.
motion.
I just want to make sure.
Okay. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Greg makes a
Second.
motion, Pat seconds. We got
And
good
it's-
work here.
And then everyone agrees?
Yes.
We're
All those
gonna
in
go
favor?
for the
Aye.
vote, probably.
Yep.
We gotta-
And I just wanted,
we gotta
that's
have
what
a-
I wanted to make sure of, yep.
We're gonna have a motion to,
Close.
we gotta have a motion to approve the variance.
So we
Yeah,
close the
so-
public hearing, now we can
Yeah, we
approve
close the
or.
public hearing. So I'd entertain a motion to approve a variance. Anybody want to take a stab at it as proposed?
I make a motion to approve the documents supplied at this point because of the hardship of the triangular shape of the property, and the request for the rear setback to be minimized by 7 feet seems to be in line.
You got that? Kinda?
Yeah,
You got that?
that'll
Okay.
work.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Wait,
Second.
yeah, your vote?
All right. You want to call the roll and we'll vote, or do you want me to do it?
Oh, Wayne,
Aye.
Pat,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Good luck.
5-0.
Congratulations and good luck. Enjoy your new home. Remember, no variance is effective until you record it on the land records, but I'm sure Attorney Carbeth knows that because he taught me that 25 years ago. Any other business for the board?
Yeah. I think when they leave, we'll talk.
Okay. Is that business for the board, or is that business between you and I?
No, no, business for the board.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
If we're at the meeting, everything's on the
Yeah,
record.
everything's got to be on the record.
Yeah, the public hearing is over, so I guess you don't need to get it, but might as, yeah, might as well.
This has nothing to do with the public hearing. Let's note that for the record.
Yeah.
No, it's
That's-
no-
Yeah,
nothing-
and you're free to go.
I'll be in touch tomorrow.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Good
No
luck,
problem.
guys.
Attorney Carbeth, it was good to see you
Yeah,
again.
we'll clear up whatever you don't want, but
You can leave stuff here. If we end up having copies, I'll get them ready for you guys and you can take them
That's
away.
fine.
I wanna make sure I have everything I need for the record.
I'll leave it here.
Leave it here.
I'll see this.
I'll make sure yeah, whatever we don't use, you guys will get
Because
back.
there's 3 of the rendering and the existing.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, Pat, you got something else, we'll call this new business?
Well,
Yeah, new
I think it relates to our last meeting on that process.
I got something to say about that as well.
You know, the problem is, I think there should have been a condition, or there should be something to be reviewed prior, because I don't think they looked hard enough to say, okay, we can minimize the impact.
All right, Pat, I'm gonna interrupt you here, 'cause
Yes.
I don't wanna get in trouble here and get us into an area where
Yeah.
we're continuing a public hearing.
Okay.
closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That decision has been made and rendered,
Yep.
and we're not going to address.
I'm talking about going forward. That's all.
Okay, well, then we can
We just can't
discuss
reference
that.
any applications really.
Yeah,
Going forward.
I
In general
understand.
sense.
I didn't mention the name, I didn't mention the property, so I understand all
It
that.
doesn't matter, I don't wanna get into an area where.
Oh, I get it, and I.
I'll be happy to talk to you about it after, but on the record, I don't think that's a good idea,
Okay, then we'll,
okay?
done.
Any other business for the board? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Greg, you want to second that one too? All in favor?
So I-
Good night to everybody in
5-0.
TV land. We'll see you next month.